So, I heard you want to be promoted to senior software engineer, right? I got this the thing for you. So, first thing you got to go do is you got to go outside and you got to collect the 7 Dragon Balls right here. And then all you got to do is wish on those 7 Dragon Balls, and then boom, you're a senior software engineer. Hey, I'm just playing with you. But for real though, my name is Glenn, and I am a senior software engineer at a pretty big insurance company. So, before we get started with how to get promoted and like to your senior software engineering position, let me just say this, right? So, I want to say that I'm qualified to help you with this process because I am, like I said, a senior software engineer. I've only been out of school for about a little over 2 years now, which normally the average senior gets promoted around the 3 to 5 year mark. So with that being said, I'm not the best programmer. I don't claim to be. I'm not the fastest typer. I can't get the fastest code out there. I didn't get paid the most, and I still don't get paid the most, even for some junior devs. But with that being said, I am in that senior position, which puts me up into some great opportunities here in a couple of years. So let's get on to the point with point number one. So point number one being that you got to know the difference between a junior and a senior developer, right? So a junior developer, in most cases, either handles either the UI or the back end, or in some cases, there is a junior full stack engineer. So with becoming a senior software engineer, you need to first make sure you're positioning yourself in the full stack. Most, if not all, companies hiring for senior software engineers are expecting you to know how to do anything from databases to back end to front end. So, but in my case, I was already a full stack developer. So going into that senior software engineering role, the only difference was maybe I had to handle a little bit more support issues. I was expected to complete tasks a little bit quicker, but not really that much quicker. Like if it was an 80-hour task, I was expected to do it in about 60. And for me, I don't really work that way. I have like spurts of like good time and bad time. Like normally my first 3 hours in the morning, I get more done in those 3 hours than I would for 8 hours working in the afternoon. So for me, that's no problem. So it left me open to a lot of possibilities in that aspect. All right, so you also need to understand the differences in pay. So for most places, I'm not talking about Silicon Valley or huge cities like New York and stuff like that. For most places, a junior engineer is getting paid anywhere between 50 to 80K. And when you get promoted to that senior, you're expecting anywhere between 90 up to about 150K a year. So there really isn't a lot of new skills you need to learn to be a senior. A lot of it is just learning how to talk to managers, how to handle product owners, and leaving yourself open for opportunities. So let's go on to my next point. So point number two. So you're going out and you're applying for these senior level positions, right? Most companies won't look at you without that minimum years of experience on whatever the fuck that means. I don't know what years of experience has to do with programming skill and seniority, but apparently people really care about the number of years. So here, you're kind of left into the wind, but you can apply for lower end companies, like say like a non-tech company or a startup tech company. One of those two may be more open to handle those lack of years of experience. Like, seriously doubt you're getting a senior position at Google without those years of experience. You'd have to be some amazing genius, in which it's not really worth it at that point. You just make your own company. So you need to understand that you just have to go out there and apply, and your skills are going to have to be good enough to pass these senior software engineers. And these interviews vary so greatly, but for the most part, they're way more practical interviews. You don't really get like, code the inverse binary tree, reverse a linked list. You don't get these Can you code a red black tree problems? You get more like, okay, I have this database and I have this UI and I'm trying to connect them. So they want you to explain workflows and how to get their product out. So most of engineering itself, software engineering itself, is just handling websites and API calls and databases. So really gonna have to know your stuff there, and it's not very difficult, but you need to make sure those interviews you are getting, you know the technologies they're using, because they're gonna ask you technology specific questions a lot of the times. So I don't want to really get too deep into examples, but if you know Angular, Spring, and SQL, you're going to need to know how to do multi-threading in Spring and Java, You're going to need to know how to handle customized paging in Angular. You're going to have to know how to handle a lot of these routing issues that you may experience with Angular because it's a single page application, and just little things like that you're going to need to know the answer to. So they're going to be expecting you as a senior engineer to have these answers that may be complex to someone just starting. So my point number 3 is going to be this, right? So a lot of these times nowadays, at least in the Birmingham, Alabama area, most jobs are coming from recruiters. So if you don't have a good connection to a recruiter, it's going to be really hard for them to give you their word, or to vouch for you, saying this guy, he's young, he doesn't have the years of experience, but he's really good. Go ahead and give him the interview. It took me about 3 months to find my senior position, and I had to change my whole outlook. I was like, I'm only going to accept senior positions. I'm looking for this much pay. For me, that was around the 100K mark, and not K mark, but like 100,000 mark. But you're going to have to really set your goals and fight a lot of these recruiters because they're not going to give you the interview. I've had probably like 20 recruiters slam the door in my face. Not literally slam the door, very nice, how recruiters are. But they basically said, we can't get you the interview. The customer doesn't like your resume. Well, fair enough. You're applying for a senior position. You only have 1, maybe 2 years. And really, if you get promoted internally, it's going to take you probably 5 years. I have not seen anyone get promoted to a senior level in less than 4 years working for a company. So really changing that mindset of like, this is what I'm going to have to move to the next job. And you just keep looking and applying and saying, and pretty much pleading to these companies saying, look, give me a technical interview. Give me a technical interview. I can show you what I can do. And just blow the socks off their feet. Destroy the whole interview, just like destroying the like button on this video. Thank you so much. And that's just what you're going to have to do. It's going to be a fight. It's going to be tooth and nail. It's going to be rough. But it's going to be well worth it, because at that moment you get that senior title and you collect years of experience, you're opening yourself up to early management positions, early architecture positions. If you're going through an MBA course, is opening it up to you for CIO and CTO positions in the future, or even opening yourself up to more technology and more responsibility to go out and start your own business. And that's kind of like what my path is. I want to start my own business one day, so I want to learn as much about the whole process as possible, which is kind of hard as a junior developer because they kind of put you on these meaningless tasks, and you're sitting there coding up task requests, UI and APIs, and redoing 1996 code, translating COBOL into Java, and it's just really boring and tedious and monotonous, and it's just not a very good feel. So when you get to that senior level position, you get a lot more chances to touch the Jenkins. You get more chance to go out there and talk to the business users and figure out and talk to product owners and other managers and other teams, and you get to pull a lot. You increase your network, and it increases your knowledge base, and that's really the whole key of wanting to get that senior position, and wanting the senior position is 90% of the battle. So I think I got some closing remarks, and I will cut and look at my notes real quick. All right, guys. Well, I think my last note was just to say that you need to keep your salary expectations reasonable. If you are going to get into it early, you're probably going to make less than other senior software engineers. And of course, that's in a negotiation, depending on your negotiation skills and your coding skills. You have to figure that part out yourself. Everyone's a little bit different. Every company's a little bit different, but you can expect your salary to be on the lower end of seniors, and it will go up gradually over time. So keep that in mind. But guys, it was nice talking to you. And if you have any questions, or if you want me to make any videos regarding my new position, just let me know down in the comments. Please subscribe and like the video if you haven't already. And y'all have a good night.